Welcome back to another video where I'm going to talk about a few things. But first, we're going to go take a trip down memory lane. I used to film here when I first started doing this a long time ago, and one of the very first videos I did was in a Hyundai. And this is where I filmed everything from the Alfa Romeo 4C. And this community never got built out. The builder went bankrupt, and it was just kind of dead over here. So this beautiful area was a great place to shoot cars until some asshole decided they were going to dump pallets and pallets of old CRTs and basically create a toxic environment where the community had to pay to clean it up and then put up these concrete barriers, and thus I never filmed back here again. So I constantly get asked over all these years from doing this, how do you feel about cars turning something you loved into a job? And I think what you'll hear over and over again from a lot of people is don't turn your hobby into a passion unless you want that to be severely tarnished. And so what I wanted to talk about is how my perceptions changed. So a viewer asked Jack recently, he was talking about like, I wanted to buy this car, I couldn't decide, I watched videos on it, so this is what I bought. And the guy asked Jack, what do you think? And Jack's like, well, are you happy? Are you happy with the decision you made? And the guy's like, yes, I'm happy with it. And Jack's like, well, that's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, there's thousands and thousands of cars that you see all day, every day. And everybody's a different reason why they bought those cars. They're not, some are just a mistake. Like, I had to go to a dealership and buy something right now because my car broke. Other people take years to decide on it. And so for me personally, there's no car that I truly love anymore. And I think that's the worst part of doing this. When you drive all these things, there's not one car where I'm like, it would absolutely alter my life. Now, I do have favorite cars, I have aspirational cars, but at the price points of that, it's almost pointless because the cars have become so fast, they're so expensive to maintain and use that even if you did buy it, where are you going to use it? It becomes a fourth car, and you have to have so much disposable income to make a lot of this stuff work. So I've kind of lost the concept of maybe one day I'll have some of these things, because I don't think I would gain anything out of having some of these cars anymore. So I've just kind of put it on my mind, and I've tried to find the happiness in the cars that I already have, and of course sharing the experience that we have from the brands and the engineers that are working on the vehicles that are coming out today. So like Corvette, I'm not a Corvette guy, but I love talking to the engineers who have put their lives into it to try to perfect these cars and understanding like who the cars are for and how we make it the best we can. Same thing with the Porsche engineers, guys that have spent their life in motorsports or in racing or, working on these very, very specific cars to perfect them and make them the best that they can be in the box they have to work with. And these are some really, really talented people. I mean, I can't believe the talent that's out there, but like everything, there's not one perfect thing, and there's not one perfect car or product that's gonna make you happy. It's just like one of those things that you buy that hopefully adds something, just a little bit to your life, that it becomes an outlet to try to, if you're having a bad day, or anything like that's not going right, you can look at it, you can be in it, and you can find some joy in maybe it'll put a little bit of happiness in your life without being a burden. And I think that's, to me, what I really gravitate towards, not just in cars now, like what's the pros and cons of the cars that I'm driving, but are they gonna be a burden in your life? And are they gonna be a burden in your life in a negative way? And I know people are struggling. Like the idea of spending $50,000 on a Toyota Sienna where a dealership's going to jerk you around on a family vehicle, I can understand why that would be a horrible experience for somebody. So, I'm trying to keep all these things in perspective, and then also being somewhat objective on what's good and bad about cars. I don't want to say it's ruined cars for me, but it's also, try not to just look through my own lens of what I want. Because the truth is like the cars that I love that got me into this no longer exist. And I think that's a really difficult place to be. Like the cars that I really, really loved and would have aspired to own, they don't make cars like that anymore. The cars are not simple. Cars are a software-driven experience like this one. That's one of the reasons why I loathe it. 10 layers of menus to like select all this nonsensical engineering that just is basically all gimmicks. It's all gimmicks. And everything is synthetically, there's nothing mechanical really talking to you. It's all on how the engineers program software to drive the car. And that might be really cool for some people, but again, for me personally, it's nothing like that I really love about cars anymore. It's almost gone, and it's happened very quickly. Like, we're not talking about, back in my day when I was like, 50 years ago or something, like, it's not that long ago. We're talking 10, 15 years. There's been this complete revision of how things are being made. I mean, they just talked about how they're going to kill the Civic Type R in Europe because it can't meet regulations or whatever the reason is. So it's like these constant changes that are forced upon us that are out of our control, and a lot of these things that we might love, but they have to evolve. They might change. Even our relationships have to change as we get older. The requirements that you may have had when you were younger, to be with somebody or be friends with somebody, those might change as people change. So I really look at a lot of these cars in terms of, okay, what have they done? How have they done it? How can I explain? How do I connect with these brands to explain the decisions they're making? And some brands just don't care about that. They literally just don't care about trying to explain what they're doing. It's just a product to get out, and hopefully somebody buys it and then buys the next thing. So I like to work with brands. Now that's what I get passionate about, is I like to work with brands or work with cars that somewhat have a story, that the people actually are interested in talking about the cars that they made, or the engineers care about the work that they put into it, and that are real about the fact that, not everything's perfect, and here's what we had to do, here's the compromises we made. And that's really what gets me excited now versus, this is a new car, it's great. I just, for me personally, there's more to it than that, and that's what we're trying to share. But the thing I just want to make clear too is, if you're buying a car or a thing hoping that it's going to change your life, I think you're going to be sorely disappointed. And I know plenty of people that are constantly cycling through cars and buying new things to try to recreate that high that they had when they bought their first thing, and like, it's never enough now. And I think that's the consumeristic society we've gotten into, unfortunately, with cars and a lot of stuff. And I just redid my media room because it's my one escape. I get to clear my head. I get to watch movies, listen to music, just be in a space outside of like my own head with things, and just going through that whole scene, the home audio people that are out there. I mean, like, I literally stumbled upon, I was looking for something to make my own speaker cables, and I found a set of speaker cables that was $97,000. Two cables to plug into speakers, copper wire, $97,000. So I mean, every industry has its nut jobs, and every industry has its like weird esoteric Dungeons and Dragons stuff. But at the end of the day, if you have $97,000 to buy speaker cables and you think that's going to change your life, I think you're going to be in for a very, very big shock. So anyway, that's kind of my long diatribe. I'm on these roads that I used to drive all the time. And it's been a long time doing this, and I hope to kind of reconnect with the past and some of the joy that cars bring, new or old, and share those stories going forward. So catch you next one. Thanks for watching.